The sun was sinking low over the golden fields of Willow Creek, Iowa, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. But for 16-year-old Ellie Mae Thornton, the beauty of that evening was lost in a haze of fear. Her wrists burned, bound tightly with coarse rope against the rough bark of an old oak tree. Cruel, mocking laughter echoed around her as three figures loomed in the fading light. The bullies of Willow Creek High had singled her out again, but this time they'd gone too far. Tied to that tree, humiliated, Ellie Mae had no idea that one phone call would change everything and bring a storm no one in that small town could have predicted. Ellie Mae wasn't like the other kids in Willow Creek. She was quiet, almost invisible, with worn denim overalls and a braid that swung down her back like a rope. Her family's farm, a patchwork of corn and soybeans, was her world. She grew up milking cows before dawn, fixing fences with her dad, and reading dog-eared books beneath that same oak tree where she now stood helpless. At school, she was different. At Willow Creek High, her shyness made her a target. Her faded clothes and soft-spoken nature were like a neon sign to kids like Travis Boone, the quarterback with a smirk as sharp as a blade, and his cronies, Lilo and Cody, who followed him like wolves. It started small. Snickers in the hallway, cruel notes slipped into her locker with words like freak and loser scrawled in jagged ink. Ellie Mae kept her head down, clutching her books like a shield. But Travis had a knack for cruelty, and that spring he set his sights on breaking her. "You think you're better than us, farm girl?" he sneered in the cafeteria one day, loud enough for the whole room to hear. Ellie Mae flushed red, her eyes glued to the floor. She didn't think she was better. Truth was, she didn't think much of herself at all. By the time summer rolled around, the bullying had escalated. Travis and his crew followed her home one day, pelting her with pebbles as she walked the dirt road to her farm. She ran, breath hitching, but they were faster, their laughter chasing her like a shadow. That was when they got the idea, the sick, twisted idea that led to the oak tree. It was a Friday evening, the air thick with the scent of cut grass and impending rain. Ellie Mae had been walking home from the library, her backpack heavy with books, when Travis's pickup screeched to a halt beside her. Before she could react, Cody grabbed her arms while Lila giggled, pulling a coil of rope from the truck bed. "You're going to learn your place, Ellie Mae," Travis said, his eyes glinting dark. They dragged her to the oak tree half a mile from her farmhouse, hidden by a bend in the road. She fought, kicking and twisting, but she was small and they were strong. The rope bit into her wrists, her sneakers scraping the dirt. Travis leaned close, his breath hot against her ear. "Let's see how long it takes for someone to care about you, farm girl." Then they left, their laughter fading as storm clouds gathered overhead. Ellie Mae's heart pounded, her chest tight with panic. The ropes cut deep into her skin. She twisted, but the knots held firm. The fields fell silent except for the rustle of cornstalks and the distant rumble of thunder. She was alone, or so she thought. But Ellie Mae had a secret, one she'd kept even from her parents. In her back pocket was a phone, a cheap flip phone she had saved for with chore money, and on that phone was a number she'd memorized but never called. A number that belonged to someone who could turn this nightmare into something else entirely. Her scraped fingers fumbled for the phone. It slipped once, twice, before she caught it and flipped it open. The faint glow of the screen felt like a lifeline in the dark. She dialed the number, her heart racing. It rang once, twice, 3 times. Then a voice answered, low and steady, cutting through the static like a blade through silk. "Ellie, what's wrong?" It was him, Caleb Thornton, her husband, a man no one in Willow Creek even knew existed. At that very moment, Caleb was thousands of miles away in a classified location with his Delta Force unit, trained for missions far more dangerous than small-town bullying. But to Caleb, this wasn't a prank. It was personal. Ellie's voice cracked. "Caleb, I need you. They tied me to a tree." That was all he needed to hear. His tone hardened into steel. "Where are you? Exact location now." "Willow Creek," she whispered. The oak tree by Miller Road, half a mile from the farm. Stay calm, I'm coming. Don't hang up. The line stayed open. She could hear him barking orders, his team mobilizing with the precision of a machine. She didn't know how he would get there or how long it would take, but she knew one thing. Caleb Thornton never broke a promise. Rain began to fall, cold against Ellie's face. The rope rubbed her wrists raw. I'm on a transport now, Ellie. Caleb's voice came through. ETA 3 hours. You'll be okay. Just keep talking to me. 3 hours felt endless. She told him about Travis and the cruelty she'd endured. Caleb listened in silence, fury barely contained. They'll regret this, he finally said, his voice low and dangerous. At a bonfire on the edge of town, Travis, Lila, and Cody laughed, drinking cheap beer. She's probably crying her eyes out, Travis smirked. Cody shifted. Storm's coming. Maybe we shouldn't have left her out there. She's fine, Travis waved him off. She's probably untied herself already. They didn't know a military transport was already in the sky, carrying a man who'd faced warlords and terrorists, and who now had a mission of his own. Caleb and his Delta team landed at a small airstrip near Des Moines. A black SUV waited. Dressed in jeans and flannel, Caleb looked like any civilian, but his team moved with lethal precision. This is personal, Caleb said. My wife's in trouble. We go in, we get her, we send a message. No casualties, but they'll never forget it. The team nodded. No hesitation. Tonight's mission was Ellie Mae. Back at the tree, Ellie's phone battery flickered. Hang on, Caleb said. We're close. 20 minutes. The storm split the sky with lightning. For the first time, anger sparked inside her. She wasn't just a victim. She was Caleb Thornton's wife. Headlights cut through the rain. The SUV roared down Miller Road. Caleb leapt out before it stopped. He saw her, tied, soaked, trembling. Rage and guilt tore at him. Knife flashing, he cut the ropes in one motion. Ellie collapsed into his arms, gripping tight. You came, she whispered. Always, he said. He carried her to the SUV, wrapping her in a blanket. But his eyes stayed hard. Stay here. We've got business to finish. Ellie clutched his hand. Don't hurt them, Caleb. Just make them understand. He nodded, but his promise was clear. They'd never forget this night. Caleb and his men found the bonfire. Rain hissed against the flames. Travis, Lila, and Cody looked up, startled, as 6 figures stepped into the firelight. Who the hell are you? Travis demanded. Caleb's voice was calm, deadly. You tied my wife to a tree. Travis laughed nervously. Ellie Mae? That loser's your wife? Caleb didn't smile. His team fanned out, silence surrounding the fire. Here's how this works, Caleb said. You apologize to Ellie Mae, you mean it, and you never speak to her again. If you do, I'll know, and I'll be back. Travis puffed up. You don't scare me. In a blur, Caleb twisted his arm until Travis winced. You should be scared. You have no idea who I am. Leela cried. Cody muttered apologies. The Bullies' bravado crumbled. The next morning, Willow Creek buzzed. Travis, Lila, and Cody showed up at Ellie Mae's farmhouse, pale and shaken, apologies spilling. Caleb stood behind her, arms crossed, watching. The town didn't know the full story, only that Ellie Mae's mysterious husband had arrived, and the Bullies had fallen silent. Rumors spread. Soldier, mercenary, ghost. Ellie Mae didn't care. She had Caleb. And for the first time, she felt untouchable. In the weeks that followed, everything changed. Caleb stayed on leave, working the farm and teaching Ellie Mae self-defense under the oak tree that once symbolized her fear. You're stronger than you know, he told her. Her quiet strength grew. At school, she lifted her head high, her voice steady. The Bullies kept their distance. The town began to see her differently, not as the quiet farm girl, but as someone who'd faced darkness and stood tall. Eventually, Caleb returned to his unit, but he left her with a promise. I'm always one call away. Ellie kept his number close, but she didn't need it as much. She had found her own strength. The oak tree still stood, bark scarred but branches reaching skyward, just like Ellie Mae. And Willow Creek learned a lesson it would never forget. Never underestimate the quiet ones. They might just have a Delta Force husband and a fire in their heart no bully can extinguish.